It seems like you guys are trying to fake it so you can have your fake heaven. Today, I have 10 questions for you to help you influence me on why you think there is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica.
Oh, goody! I love answering stupid questions, but I have no idea who Antarctica is.
Leave a comment, or you can send me a link to your answer if you want to make a video about it, and I will gladly listen to why you think there is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll answer your questions, and I wonder if you're still going to be giggling like that once the final experiment actually takes place. And if you're asking us to explain to you why we believe there's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, shouldn't you also be explaining to us why you believe there isn't?
And I will try to understand your definition of a sunset.
Well, it's not my definition, but here it is. Sunset or sundown is the disappearance of the sun below the horizon of Earth due to its rotation, and it's a phenomenon that happens approximately once every 24 hours, except in areas close to the poles.
I know this is hard to comprehend, but my definition of a sunset is different than your definition of a sunset.
And why exactly is that? Now, is it because you can't make the actual definition of a sunset work on your flat Earth model, or something else? Please subscribe.
Number one, why do they equate midnight suns with 24-hour suns?
Okay, so first of all, who is they? And it's flat earthers like Eric Dubay that call it the midnight sun, and you don't seem to realize that at midnight the sun is the furthest away from your location. Just like a solar noon, the sun is closest to you. You're also assuming that this is some word trick by the globe side, but it isn't. The term midnight sun is just another name for the 24-hour sun.
Do you understand that that sounds deceitful and that sounds like a trick?
Well, not really, because it's just another term for the 24-hour sun. But back to the topic of it coming across as deceitful. Maybe that's why so many flat earthers call it the midnight sun instead of the 24-hour sun.
Number two, do you understand that the sunsets in the north are different than the sunsets in the south?
Do you think that it's possible that maybe you could even offer up a flat earth believer tour where you take them, like at the very least, take them up to Alaska where it's light for 23 hours a day?
Okay, so I'm not really sure what you mean by that, but the sun rises in the east and sets in the west in both northern and southern hemispheres. Now, the main difference between the hemispheres is the sun's arc in the sky. In the northern hemisphere, the sun's path is tilted towards the south, while in the southern hemisphere, it tilts towards the north. So the general east-to-west direction of sunrise and sunset remains the same globally. And it's interesting that you included that Joe Rogan clip, because that's exactly what the final experiment is, except in the southern hemisphere.
Number three, what is an almost 23-hour sun?
Because there's been about 23 hours of sunlight here.
I have no idea why you included that clip. Where is she? Because as far as we can tell from that clip, she's somewhere snowy, and that's all we know. The amount of time the sun is in the sky depends on how far south you are and the date. Now, there are 6 months of 24-hour sun at the South Pole. Not everywhere you see some snow, and her comment about 23 hours of sun is irrelevant without some context.
Number four, is all of the above, is it a way to confuse people to fit the model of the globe and pretend like there's a 24-hour sun? Is that what's going on here?
No. And all that question proves is that you don't understand the globe model. Or you do understand it and you're choosing to completely ignore it because it doesn't fit in with your preconceived ideas about the shape of the Earth.
Number five, is there a 24-hour sun in Antarctica? And is there a 24-hour sun in Antarctica for 4, 5, or 6 months? Some people say it's just in December. Other people say it's 6 months. Other people say it's 5 months. Other people say it's 4 months. Yes or no, 4, 5, or 6 months is a yes or no question. And if it is yes, then proceed to question number 6.
I just need to double check something. So your question was, does the 24-hour sun in Antarctica last for 4, 5, or 6 months. How can a question with 3 possible answers be a yes or no question? It depends how far south you are. At Union Glacier, which is where the final experiment is taking place, it lasts for 6 months, from approximately late September to late March. And during this time, the sun does not set, providing continuous daylight. And conversely, the Antarctic winter from late March to late September is a period of continuous darkness known as the polar night. So it's either an all sun or no sun situation in Antarctica, depending on how far south you are.
Question number 6 is this footage showing sunsets in the 4, 5, or 6 month period? There's not supposed to be sunsets in Antarctica.
Right. Now, you do understand that when the sun sets, it gets dark. Now, in the clip you just played, the sky stayed pretty much bright blue the whole time, with a couple of exceptions where there was cloud coverage. But it most certainly didn't appear as though it was getting dark. So now, if the object of the exercise was to make your questions as confusing as possible, then you've done a great job. Now, I'm just going to point out the obvious here. It says on the screen that it was from October 25th to October 31st. So it was filmed over 1 week. And October comes after September. So, yeah.
So Exhibit A is time-lapse footage from university students from New Zealand showing climate change stuff and showing snow levels on mountains. And it appears to be showing sunsets in the months there aren't supposed to be sunsets in Antarctica.
Maybe take your shades off and try watching it again, because the sun did not set in either of those clips. Wear sunglasses indoors.
Is this video proof that the sun is setting when it's not supposed to be setting in Antarctica?
No.
Number 7, if it's only in December, why hasn't the government given us substantial video footage of this 24-hour sun?
Because it's not the government's job, and they also don't give us video footage of a 24-hour sun in the northern hemisphere either, or at the North Pole. And who says it only happens in December? Now, I know in my own videos I've used the word December, but that's because that's when the final experiment is taking place. But I am most definitely not saying that they only get a 24-hour sun in that particular month.
So when you look into it, you don't see a lot of good video footage of this 24-hour sun. And the video footage that you do see of this 24-hour sun looks like the sun's setting. It looks light outside, and then they're fast forwarding till morning. And they're making it look like it never set, but they're not showing the sun in the sky for 24 hours. And why don't they do that?
And it's comments like that that inspired Will Duffy to put the final experiment together, so that he can take you there and show you that it stays in the sky for 24 hours. So, let's just wait and see, shall we?
Number 8, Exhibit B is the most popular video showing this alleged 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Is this video footage doctored? I think it's fair to say that most flat earthers would agree that this video looks doctored. So as soon as that sun's about to set, they show you east on the video, and they show you a clock to make it look like it's later in the day than it is, and it sure looks like the sun's setting, and then ta-da, it rises again. Is that fake footage? And again, why hasn't the government shown us ample footage of these 24-hour suns?
Is this guy serious? It's like he watched that videos with his eyes closed. When does the sun set? But to answer your question, nope. This footage was taken by a guy called Anthony Powell, and it is not doctored at all. Now, there are tons of 24-hour sun videos on YouTube, and just because flat earthers don't like them, it does not mean that the footage has been faked or doctored, or however you want to say it. And Anthony has been uploading time lapses of Antarctica for 18 years.
Number 9, if you've answered any of the above questions with the word, the final experiment, the last 2 questions are for you. So the final experiment is a bunch of YouTubers that are going to go to Antarctica with literally the worst flat earthers in the history of flat Earth to film this 24-hour sun. My question for them is, how many hours of this 24-hour sun are you going to show the public? From 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., how many hours of that sun are you going to show on video? And are you going to show ample proof that it is that time and it is that direction and you are not editing the video footage?
Yeah, of course they're the worst flat earthers in the world, and that's definitely not because you disagree with them going, because you know what the results are going to be. But to answer your really silly question, no, the footage will not be doctored or edited or CGI'd. I haven't been able to use that for ages. And I've spoken to Will about it, and Will is hoping to film for minimum a continuous 24-hour period, but ideally over more than 24 hours continuously. So is that all right with you?
And number 10 is, why are you going to that glacier to show this alleged non-sunset? Is it because there's a mountain in the way and that sun goes right behind that mountain right during sunset? Is that why you're going there and it costs $50,000 to go and a guy like me can't go? Is that why? Are you guys trying to fake the fact that the sun doesn't set in Antarctica? The sun doesn't set in Antarctica because Antarctica isn't Antarctica. It's the Richard E. Byrd ice wall. And the earth is flat. And on flat earth, the sun sets at the Richard E. Byrd ice wall.
Oh, they named the ice wall. Adorable. And the reason that the final experiment is taking place in Union Glacier is because it's far enough south, 79 degrees 46 minutes south, and you can get there by aeroplane. So do you actually think that we're going down there because there are mountains to hide the setting sun so we can fake the fact that the sun doesn't set? People have done tons of modeling. The sun will stay above the mountains. I promise you.
And it seems like you guys are trying to fake it so you can have your fake heaven and not have to admit that government should steal life and then give it back to us and enslave us to their prison they've created for us in our minds by stealing the power of the heavens.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Love you. Bye.